Hi, my name is Sarah, and we are live from Engine Room Audio in New York City. I have a very special guest with us, a
Yes, sir.
platinum music producer who's worked with artists like Nas, Drake, J. Cole, and so many others. Everyone, please welcome Mike Cuz.
Woo!
Yes.
Happy to be here. Happy to be here. Thank you for having me, y'all.
Yes, thanks for being
Of
here.
course, of course.
So, Mike, can you first off just tell us how you got started in music?
Hmm. Uh, yeah. I mean, well, it was. My parents always had good music playing, at the crib, and then I feel like when I was getting a little older, and then I was starting to hear a lot of these songs that I was familiar with get like repurposed and sampled and chopped up and made into rap beats and stuff like that. I was just really intrigued with that process in general. So I kind of got the bug, and I really didn't know where to start because I didn't have any friends or cousins or uncles or aunts or anybody who was doing this. So it was kind of like the beginning of a scavenger hunt for like the right pieces that I would need to like start to make the music. So that's kind of how I got the bug.
Yeah, I got the bug too.
Yeah, yeah, it's tough not to.
Yeah.
There's a lot of good stuff out there.
And what's it like working with these major artists, people like Nas? Can it ever be challenging or intimidating at all?
It can be sometimes. Nas is pretty easygoing, so anytime I've been in the studio with him, he's been super cool. But yeah, I mean, less and less. I've been doing this for a while now. Definitely when I was younger, I would feel intimidated sometimes, like especially when I was playing smaller roles like assistant engineer and recording engineer and stuff like that, because I was more worried on like not messing up the moment or the opportunity. Um, but now I feel like I try to keep like a peer to peer attitude about working with people. You know what I mean? And some personalities are tough. Some people you gel with a little more easy, but that's just the game. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Knowing how to navigate all that.
yeah.
Hmm.
Is there any memorable story from maybe the earlier years of your career that really stands out to you?
Yeah, I mean, a lot. I really been blessed to be able to be a part of a lot of really cool stuff, even from the beginning. Like you mentioned the Cole stuff and Drake, which was cool. Like I said, I was really at the beginning of my journey then, so even though I was really playing smaller roles on, like I worked on Take Care, I worked on Born Center
Hmm.
as an assistant engineer. You know what I mean? Like setting the mics up and stuff like that, and making sure the session was smooth. Um, so even just to get the opportunity to be that close to those projects of that status, you know what I'm saying? Like at such a early part of my journey. Was definitely was definitely a crazy feeling, you know what I mean? And gave me the hunger to want to keep going, and want to keep making music, but then to get to that point later on, where I was playing bigger roles, like the stuff that I'm doing now, you know what I mean? It definitely helped me be patient, helped me feel like things was moving in the right direction, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah. And you're also a co-founder of Steel Sessions,
Yes,
which
Steel
is
Sessions.
a label and an artist development workshop.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah, it's a lot of things. I mean, it started as mainly the workshop back in 2017. That's when we did our first one. But uh, Buddha and Grands and I had been talking about putting steel sessions together since like 2015. But it took a lot of trial and error to finally get to the point where we had every box checked, and we were ready to like fully execute. But we didn't give up, and that's what mattered. So that's why we are where we are now.
Yeah. And what are some of the qualities that, you're trying to help with these up and coming artists so that they can have success in the music business?
Yeah, well, early on, the biggest thing for us was just like access and like real, tangible, like personalized help for people, because I mean, we definitely were all fortunate to have some good mentors in our lives on the come up, but we also experience, I'm sure we all do at some point, we all experience situations too where it feels like that hand is not being extended. You know what I mean? Or you feel like you kind of being boxed out a little bit. And we kind of wanted to, I mean, not end because it's just music industry stuff, but we wanted to like we wanted to kind of be the antithesis of that type of business. You know what I'm saying? So that was really the core part of like getting producers involved in steel sessions. Was to just make sure that we could provide a place where they could get bigger opportunities, but also make sure that the business is good, you know what I'm saying? Getting their credit, getting their splits, like getting their recognition and stuff like that, because unfortunately that's not as commonplace as it should be in the industry. So that was one of the biggest parts of it. And then on the workshop end, it was really just doing something where we were really giving every individual person exactly what they needed. You know what I mean? Because it's not like a standard. We come in and we go through this itinerary or whatever. It's everybody comes in and they do the one on one with us, and we're just getting in tune with what exactly they need for their journey at that time. So
Mm-hmm.
that's one of my favorite things about it for sure.
Yeah, that's incredible.
Thank
And
you.
definitely, I'm sure some of the help that you're doing is tailored from your own personal experience, the challenges and obstacles that you faced.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, we just, especially when we were first like brainstorming this thing, it was really just like about how can we be like who how can we be the people we wish we had,
Yeah.
when we were in our 20s, or when we was coming up and learning how to get into it and make beats and learn the business and stuff like that. So as long as we feel like we're continuing to answer that question, then we're moving in the right direction still.
Yeah, that's an incredible mission.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad you agree. It's definitely one that we feel strongly about, and it makes us feel a lot of gratitude when we get to see uh, a lot of these things come full circle and see a lot of these producers and artists, especially ones that have been pulling up from the beginning, who are like really making big moves now, like stuff with us and also stuff on their own. You know what I mean? That's really just like the manifestation of the whole mission. You know what I mean? Just like helping everybody level up their platform and get to that like next tier, and to ultimately equip them to take it as far as they feel like they want to. You know what I mean? As long as
Yeah.
they're ready to put in that work.
Yeah. No, that's great.
Thank you. Thank you.
And I know that you were also helping produce the soundtrack for Street Fighter 6.
Yes.
Yes. Is it
Yes.
different working on a video game soundtrack as opposed to an artist's album?
Yeah, it's similar and it's different. I mean, I feel like it's similar in that obviously we want there to be like a cohesion to it, like we want it to flow, we want it to be dynamic, you know what I mean? But at the same time it's different because it's there's the video game element to it, you know what I mean? Especially it's a fighting game, so we were keeping those type of sounds in mind, you know what I mean, and tempos, trying to do things that uh sound like what we make just when we cook regularly, but also are were tailored for like those kind of energetic RP sounds, like up tempo, high energy stuff from the video games too, and trying to like really find that balance and also explore like kind of different different areas of the spectrum. You know what I'm saying? Like in that, like to capture that feel still. So it was interesting. But we honestly weren't as restricted as I was thinking at first. Like we really did get free reign to create the sound that we want and bring in the artists that we want, and it was really cool that we kind of were able to do it our way.
Yeah. No, I'm excited. I want to play that game.
Yo, you should. It's crazy. I'm actually a little afraid to play because I'm rusty for sure. So
Oh.
I'm probably gonna get my ass kicked the first time I load it up.
If we played, you would probably win. I would
All right,
lose.
let's. All right, my first match is gonna be with you then, if that's how you feel. We'll make sure the
All
camera's on for
right.
that one, so I look like I still got it.
Definitely. And how do you keep your music, your sound, up to date with all the trends that can sometimes quickly come and go throughout the music business?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think too much about that. Um, I feel like I'm just kind of like forever creating, and I just like to keep in tune with everything that I am creating. sometimes it'll be something that like sounds like it fits with what's going on right now, but sometimes it's just my mood. But I feel like the biggest thing is to stay in tune with everything that you're making. You know what I mean? Because something that you could have just been making at one time for yourself might be what the trend is, you know, a year from now or months from now or something like that. So, and it also depends like on if we're locked in with an artist who is making this or that sound at that time, and then we might really get in that mode. But um, I feel like I feel like it's really just about finding the balance where you feel like you're doing it your way, but you know, if you really are trying to include some of those elements of whatever is top 40 or whatever right now, you can find creative ways to do that, either like musically or through the tempo or through the drum sounds or stuff like that. But you know, it really takes that discretion to kind of like feel like you're still keeping it in your territory while incorporating that other stuff.
Yeah,
But
and
yeah, it's
balance.
all case by case.
Yeah. Is there anything that's coming up in the near future that you can share with us? Any projects?
Yeah, we have another project that is going to be dropping soon. A project that we did at Harvard. We coordinated with a friend of ours, 1,000 Words, who is he's a man of many hats. Honestly, on the surface, he's a photographer, but he really gets busy in a lot of areas, and he kind of helped put together this project where we were in Harvard, literally in the Crimson Building, which was crazy because you know I. I didn't even apply to Harvard, you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Like
me
because I
neither.
knew yeah, I knew it was gonna be quiet. So to get an opportunity to just be in a building like that, you know what I mean, with that type of history, and kind of just talk hip hop and talk 50 years. That was kind of what sparked the whole thing. But we took that collective of artists, and I went out there, you know, with Buddha and Grands and A List and some of the other producers that we work with. And after we linked there, we went to the studio and we started to put a project together. So it ended up becoming like a crazy mob cut. You know what I'm saying? We have mad artists on there. It's got a really cool dynamic to it. We have like real like easy going stuff that's like real more loop based, but then we have heavy hitting stuff with a lot of drums and a lot of bass. So it's cool. I feel it reminds me of like a Wu Tang album or
Oh,
something
yeah.
like that, you know, because it's just like a lot of different energies, a lot of different flows, and just a lot of collaboration. You know, it was a great day, and I'm glad that now we'll have this project to like kind of remember that day. You know what I mean? So that's coming up. Um, we're working on a project with Kat Raquel, who is an amazing singer, writer, artist that we do a lot with. That will be coming out. We're definitely gonna keep dropping lo-fi's. I dropped mine a couple months ago. Troy, Buddha and Grands dropped theirs lo-fi. I think maybe less than a month ago. We're definitely gonna keep those coming out, and we're working on. I mean, he said it on Instagram the other day. So we're we're working on Book of David 2 with Dave East also. So
Oh, that's very
yeah,
exciting.
just a lot of stuff in the cooker, and you know, it's gonna be things that are gonna come up. You know what I'm saying? Tomorrow and next week and whenever that it's gonna get added to the list too. So we're just gonna keep it going and keep putting it out.
Yeah, no,
Mhm.
that's amazing. And last question, if you had one piece of advice to give your past self when you were starting out, what would it be?
Hmm, that's a good one. It would probably be something along the lines of like just like trust the process. You know what I'm saying? When I was younger, I definitely spent a lot of time like worrying about if I don't know, you know, when you're young, I feel like you just always wondering if you're doing the right thing or not, you know what I mean? And even though I was like kind of unsure, I was just kind of like continued to move in the direction that made sense, like that felt right, you know what I mean? And I feel like there's probably a handful of decisions that I made when I was younger, you know what I mean, that were influenced by kind of like that unsureness or that uncertainty. And I feel like shit becomes what it is anyway, you know what I'm saying? Like, so it's no point to like just be worrying along the way, you know what I mean? And it's definitely not going to do you any good like if you're trying to be a creative, because like we have to endure so much in this business as it is. You could at least take it easy on yourself, you know what I mean? It's probably a long list of advice that I could give my younger self if I really sat down and thought about it, but that's probably maybe the most like overarching message that I could think of is just, relax, trust the process, do what makes sense, you know what I mean? Just I feel like you just got to keep your antennas up at all time, you know what I mean? Like work in the places where you feel welcome, where you feel like you're gelling with everybody, where it works, and trust your gut if you're in situations where you might be trying to make a move but it don't feel like a great fit, like sometimes it just takes some trial and error, to
Hmm.
to kind of chip away at your mission. So don't get too discouraged. Just keep doing what you're doing. Trust the process and always do your best work
Yeah,
for sure.
that's great advice. Something that I'm sure we all need to tell
Yeah.
ourselves, you
Yeah,
know.
I still need that advice sometime when I'm having a long week.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today,
Thank you for having me.
and I can't wait to hear all your new albums, music coming out.
I'm excited.
And yeah, hopefully we'll speak again.
Yes, we will.
Yeah. All right. Signing
Thank
off.
you.
This is Engine Room Audio.
And Room Audio out.